She thought he didn't belong, just because of his skin. But one Valentine's Day surprise shattered her judgment and changed her heart forever. It was supposed to be just another busy Valentine's Day at a small-town bakery. But when a young black man walked in asking for a special cake, the manager didn't see love, she saw suspicion. What happened next? It shattered her assumptions and changed the way she saw the world forever. This is a story about judgment, redemption, and the kind of love that breaks down walls. It was Valentine's Day, and the city buzzed with energy. Cafes were filled with couples, flower shops were nearly empty, and the streets were painted red with roses and heart-shaped balloons. But inside a small boutique bakery on Main Street, a different kind of story was about to unfold. One that would challenge assumptions, break stereotypes, and remind everyone what love really means. Samantha was the manager of that bakery. In her late 20s, raised in a quiet suburban neighborhood, she had always believed she was open-minded, kind, and progressive. But as much as she claimed not to judge people, deep down there were still biases she hadn't faced. That morning, while prepping for the Valentine's Day rush, she noticed a young black man walk into the store. He wore a simple gray hoodie and jeans with headphones hanging around his neck. She immediately stiffened. Was he here to cause trouble? Was he lost? She smiled tightly, trying to be polite, but her eyes followed his every move. He walked up to the counter and gently placed a folded piece of paper in front of her. "Hi," he said softly. "I'd like to order something special. For someone I love." Samantha blanked. He didn't seem threatening. His voice was calm, his presence warm. But still, her guard was up. "What kind of cake are you looking for?" she asked, scanning him up and down, still unsure. He unfolded the paper. It was a hand-drawn sketch of a heart-shaped cake covered in purple flowers, with delicate writing across the top that read, "You're the reason I believe in love again." She glanced at the drawing, then back at him, this time with a bit more curiosity. "Did you draw this?" He nodded. "Yeah, my fiancé loves lilacs. They remind her of her mother. I want to surprise her with something that feels like home." There was a pause. Samantha stared at the sketch. It wasn't just good, it was beautiful, detailed, thoughtful. Something shifted in her. But old habits die hard. As she began writing up the order, her coworker, Mia, leaned over and whispered just loud enough, "You sure this isn't a prank or something? Looks sketchy to me." The young man heard it. He looked down, clearly hurt, but said nothing. He just smiled sadly and handed over the deposit. "I'll be back at 5, he said. "Thank you." When he left, the atmosphere changed. Samantha felt uneasy, not because of him, but because of herself. She had judged him instantly, because of his skin, because of how he dressed, because of where her own mind had been trained to go. For the next few hours, she couldn't stop thinking about him. His calm presence, the sketch, the way he spoke about love. At exactly 5 p.m., the door chimed. He returned, and he wasn't alone. A woman walked in beside him. She was radiant, long braids, bright smile, holding his hand. But what stunned Samantha wasn't her beauty. It was the look of absolute adoration on both their faces, the kind of love people dream about. Samantha handed over the cake. As the woman unboxed it, tears welled in her eyes. "It's perfect," she whispered, "just like my mom used to make." She threw her arms around the man, whispering thank you a dozen times, and for a second, just a second, she turned to Samantha and said, "He told me you didn't treat him like just another customer. Thank you for being kind." Samantha stood frozen. The compliment hit her like a brick, because deep down, she knew it wasn't true. She hadn't been kind. Not at first. She had assumed, she had judged, and now here she was, being thanked for a kindness she didn't show. At least not when it mattered most. As the couple walked out, laughing and holding each other close, Samantha looked down at the counter where the sketch once sat. It was gone, but the message remained. That day, Samantha learned something far more important than how to make the perfect Valentine's cake. She learned that love doesn't come with a color code, that kindness means nothing if it's only given selectively, and that judging someone by how they look can make you miss the beauty of who they are. Because sometimes Valentine's Day doesn't just celebrate love between two people. Sometimes it opens someone's heart to love they didn't even know they were missing. She thought she was the one serving kindness that day. But in the end, it was his quiet strength, his love, and his grace that taught her the real meaning of Valentine's Day. Because love doesn't care about skin color, it cares about the heart. If this story moved you, inspired you, or reminded you of the power of second chances, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Here, we share the stories that reveal the truth behind the judgment and the humanity behind the headlines.